Good morning. Hi, Patty.
Hello.
I'm gonna transfer you to host in just a moment here.
Okay.
You're gonna be the host. It is being recorded. It says you should be host now. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead. Hi, ladies.
Do I have to,
Patty's-
do I have to admit everybody that's trying to
You
come into
do.
the room?
It'll beep you. You will be having to admit them.
Okay.
I usually, so they should be here by 10:30-ish. I usually give them maybe 2 minutes and
Okay.
then a couple of stragglers. So Patty,
Got
Patty's in charge. You guys have a good meeting. I
Right.
won't be here, even though it looks like I will. Okay, bye.
No problem, Barb. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Hi, Patty.
Hello. All right, so we're gonna see if this works. Can you guys hear my music? Okay, good. Perfect. So as we admit people, we're just gonna hang tight.
It breaks up a bit though.
All right. Supposed to be workout music. That didn't sound very much like a workout. There we go. That's more upbeat.
I think more and more of us are starting to come into good. What do you want?
That's so funny. All right, letting everybody in. Michael,
How you doing, Patty?
good.
Long time no see.
Learning how to click admit button. Let everybody into this room today. All right. Click on some buttons here. Michael, will you click the reactions and hit raise hand? I just want to see what that looks like on my end.
Yeah, where's it at, Patty? Oh,
Patty, I
reactions.
just sent one.
Okay.
Uh,
Raise hand.
Janice, I saw your thumbs up, but I want one of you to like do the little raise hand. If you hit the little happy face icon, it should say raise hand and it should, there we go. Good. So see, Michael, that leaves your hand up until like I address you, and then you should be able to go back on there and hit like lower hand.
Yeah.
Perfect. I gotta find you on the screen. It's moving around.
What's up, Patty?
All right.
Hi.
All right.
Patty, it's great to see you. I've missed you.
Good to see you too. All right, I'm gonna shut the music off so I can hear you guys. And I think admit. Ooh. So hopefully I don't leave anybody out of the room. I'm gonna turn the volume way up now so you guys could hopefully hear my voice better without the headset. Can you hear my voice okay?
Yes.
All right, very good. Very, very good. All right. So I'm seeing, she must have it set up where I can't see everyone. So let me just try one more view here. Okay. It looks like we have 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Expand that. All right. And can you guys hear that beep? I'm just curious. Admit all. No?
No.
Okay, good. Good. I'm just gonna admit everybody at once. That's coming in. All right, close. Okay, so I'll go back and do that again in just another minute as everyone's coming into the room. So couple familiar faces. So if I pick on you, it's only because I know who you are. So don't mind that. In fact, that is how we learn and grow. And don't we get put on the spot anyways a lot of times when we meet new people, right? Especially when you're a real estate agent and you're like, hey, how's the market? And you're like, oh, they asked me a question I should have a good answer to. So hello, Nathaniel. And let's see who else am I seeing that I recognize? John, of course. Hey, John, good to see you. Kathy and Miss Janice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started because certainly we need to make the very, very best use of our time. And I have another coaching class of my own right at 11:30. So I'm going to end just a few minutes early just to decompress and jump right on the next training call for myself. So Barbara today had asked me to speak on a topic of finding off-market listings for your buyers. Because I, of course, in dialoguing with her, I said, what is their highest need right now? I said, Barb, you know your people, like what are we struggling with right now? And she said, they all have lots of buyers. But as we know, there's not a ton of listings. So how the heck are we finding these listings and creating these opportunities for these buyers? How do we hunt for the listing, right? If it's not in MLS. So that's what I have planned. And yet this class is for you. So is there anything else that you've been doing here in this first 40 days of the year, February 10th? Or just since you've started real estate that you feel, you know, I don't have a great answer for that, or I'm still struggling with this, or I just ran into this and I'd like, you know, a different opinion or perspective from an agent who's been in the business almost 21 years, you guys, that's crazy. And I still love what I do. And I still get excited and I still jump for joy when my offers get accepted. And when we close, heck yeah, you know, I still get super excited. So that being said, I'd like to hear from you. Is there anything, just anything? I'm just going to open it wide open. And then certainly if there's time, and if I have a quick answer, I'm just going to jot it down and make sure we get to that.
Broker buyers.
Okay.
I think the topic you've suggested is absolutely perfect and on topic. Great timing.
Anything on open houses that you've been hosting, anything you've tried where you're like, well, you know, just any tidbits. This is truly, this company was built by agents for agents. Okay. Out of my 21 years, I've been with Keller Williams, probably 18. So I want you to know that my understanding of this company, yes, is to make sure you get what you want.
Maybe you should. Can you hear me? I sound weird.
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. So maybe if you could touch up on the broker buyer agreement.
Yes, I wrote that down.
Okay, gotcha.
So I have a question. They say, you know, I see on Facebook and other, you know, social media coming soon, but I thought we couldn't post anything about something that's coming soon that's not in the MLS yet.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct, Sandy.
Okay.
And man, those little hands are super tiny. So now I see that you raise your hand. It's like super tiny in the corner. So I'll try to be more mindful of that. So if anything, just speak up like, hey, I got a question. Correct. Our MLS, our Metro list does not, it is in violation to put up a coming soon. In the Bay Area, so Bay East, Paragon, anything outside of the Metro list territory, they actually do allow coming soons.
Oh wow.
So you have to pay attention to where the listing agent is from and what MLS they're using. That is all self-reported. There is not MLS Nazis out there looking for those things. They expect us to self-report and to report those people, you know, on our own. Now, who has time for that?
Yeah.
I just don't, you know, I just don't. I don't worry about it. I'm like, you know, good for you. And I'll just go ahead and continue to do the right thing and not do that. So
Okay.
yeah, unfortunately, it's not.
So I see that, you know, it's a few different brokers that are posting these things. So obviously they're kind of aware of these coming soons because it's their agents, correct? So I guess that's how they find out about properties that haven't hit MLS yet. How do we find out?
For other brokerages.
For us.
Yeah. And so if it's a coming soon, then technically it should also hit the multiple listing service, right? Because all they're announcing is, hey, this is going to hit the market in a day or so, right? Because technically it should just be within a few days. So you're going to see it. You're going to see it regardless. You're going to see it hit the MLS. You just, if it's with another brokerage, the only way to do that is to have really good relationships with other agents outside of Keller Williams. Okay, so that's really good reverse prospecting, which is part that's actually on my list, Sandy, is as you build relationships with other agents in the community that are not with Keller Williams, a good place to do that is your marketing meetings in the city you live, whatever city you're going to focus on. So the Central Valley Association of Realtors serves 7 cities. The Lodi Association also spans our county, okay? And each one of those has marketing meetings every week that you can go and meet other people in the industry, other real estate agents and other lenders, just really other people in the industry. And as you create those relationships, I do have my list of 12 people where if I'm not finding something, I just shoot them a text. I shoot them a message and say, hey, I have this buyer. This is the pocket they're in. Do you guys have anything coming up? Now, are we supposed to share that information between us? Not really, because it's 2 different brokerages, but are they now my friend that they've known for years and are they willing to? Absolutely. Right? So I'm going to take advantage of that relationship because they know if they wrote on one of my listings, you know, and that fell through, like I'm going to shoot that list out to them first too. So it's reciprocating. You want to be able to share that information.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So other than buyer broker agreements, I'm not hearing much else. So
Patty,
yes.
can you talk a little bit about your CMA, like what you use for it? If you're sharing with that, do you use a template or, you know, what tools you're using to present those?
Sure. All right. And that's a whole topic in itself. So I might get Barbara to give me more time on a different day. But if I'll watch the clock and if I have time for that, I'll certainly go into it, you know, fairly quick overview on that. All right. All right, guys. So again, for those of you that just came into the room, what we're discussing today is how to find more listings that are not in MLS, that are not on the market for the buyers you're currently working with. All right. One idea we've already discussed is building rapport, building relationships with other real estate agents, even within the company. Right. So I know we use Facebook, our private Facebook group, and you post your buyer's needs there. I see a few where it's like, hey, I have a buyer with this need in this pocket. If anybody has anything coming up, like, let me know. Right. Michael, did you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, one thing, I know we've talked about this before, but I want to clarify it. What are we allowed to do from a marketing perspective for non-KW listings? Can we do Facebook ads? Can we do live videos and just go see the property and post it? What is the rule there?
You do have to get permission from the listing agent if you're
Right.
going to be marketing. So again, if you have that relationship where you reach out to them and say, hey, I have a few buyers for this, so I'd like to market your property. Are you okay with that? If they send you a text or an email, get it in writing. Get it in writing that they gave you permission to market their home. Then as far as I know, you're good to go.
Even non-KW
As
listings?
far as I know, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not the broker, so. Right? And yet I do believe as long as we get permission, because truly when it enters the MLS, they have now entered into a cooperative agreement to share their listing and that data with the world, with all other realtors. By default, so this will go a little bit into what John was talking about. By default, when a property hits the MLS as a cooperative agent, we automatically represent the seller. The only time that changes is when you walk into that property with the buyer and the buyer has hired you to represent them. Now, right, you represent them and not the seller because you've earned that right. So, right, John, Michael, that's why I believe that statement would be true, that by default, we represent all the listings in MLS. We represent the sellers of all the listings in MLS until we have a buyer for that home who's hired us to be on the other side.
So what about open houses?
No.
No, right?
Open houses, yeah, it's because of E&O, and that's errors and omissions, yes. And I know there was a little bit of talk around that for, being able to get your E&O independently, but no, as of this moment, yeah, it's more of a liability, because if something were to happen to you or a client or anything at that property or even going to that property, you would not be covered by E&O insurance if you were doing it outside of our brokerage. Okay. All right, but those are really big broker questions. I'm just telling you what I believe is true on that. All right. So open houses and marketing. I'm just going to make a little note of that just to make sure that I give you, I'm sure she's going to watch the recording. I give you the right answer. And if not, we will correct it. All right, guys. So what are you doing right now? Is there anything you guys are doing right now? I'm just curious to hear that, to find, all right, I have these buyers. I have 1, 2, 3, 5 buyers and nothing's hitting the market. What is it that you're doing right now other than searching the active MLS that hits the market every day?
I actually, sorry.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
actually pulled the expired listings for a particular area and canceled, and I door knocked. I wasn't successful, but I door knocked to try to find a home for my buyer because he wanted a particular area. I got, positive feedback, but we ended up getting another home anyway. So, but that was the only other way I could think of to find homes that were not on the market in that particular area.
And did you leave something behind if they didn't answer the door? Did you have something to leave there? Okay.
Yes. Well, I left my business card, but it was, I didn't have like a CMA or
A letter or anything that said, hey, I have a buyer looking in this community? Nothing like that?
no, I didn't.
Okay.
I should have though.
Okay, no worries. I got some good tools for you today. John? Was that you that said you were doing something?
Oh, I'm just sending out golden letters to like areas that my buyer's looking for.
Are you mailing those or are you door knocking?
Mailing, honestly, door knocking, it's still a mental block for me, but I am going to do that after this meeting though. In my neighborhood.
Okay. Anybody else doing something different? Panning the screen? No? Okay. So, yes, Miss Kathy?
Sorry, I was writing it down. It's Valentine's Day month. So I'm doing my pop-by gifts for all my past clients. And I often connect with them and I'm asking them if they know of anybody who wants to sell right now. I'm looking for listings. So that's how I'm doing. I'm going through past clients right now, and my excuse is bringing by Valentine gifts.
Yeah. And then naturally having that conversation. Like,
Yeah, in
hey, there's
person.
nobody on the block, right? You see no for sale signs. We're lacking some inventory. Like, who do you know that I should know
Yeah.
who might want to sell? Right? Because they do. They talk to their neighbors, and that's how we kind of get wind of that.
Yes.
And then you ask for permission to use their name, right? Like, is it okay if I let them know that you had that conversation? And Kathy, when that does happen, or have you had success with that where they say, oh yeah, the neighbor 3 doors down, have you gone and knocked on the door and introduced yourself?
I haven't had success with that yet, but I'm still trying. I have had buyer referrals from their family members, but then again, we still don't have listings. So there is definitely that connection. And I still keep in touch with the relationships years later, because they may want to list someday themselves.
Of course, of course. So, yeah, that's definitely the action on that should be immediate when you get something. And the fact that you are attempting, it's really interesting, you guys, you know, as long as I've been doing this, sometimes we do activities that feel like they yield no results. And yet I promise you, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you are doing those activities with the full intention of serving others, you will get this miraculous phone call, text message, person that stops you and says, hey, I've been thinking about buying or selling. And it's not even connected to the activity you did. There's something interesting in our specific line of work called real estate, that when you show up and you work in this business, again, it may not come from the door knocking activity that you do, but the universe has some way of rewarding you for showing up and actually doing your job. And it'll feel like, man, this came out of the blue. That was lucky. No, it was because you put in the work another day, and now the results of that is showing up. That's just called reciprocity. It's what happens when you are truly doing the work and showing up to work. Okay. And I know that's airy-fairy, but it happens to me every single week, you know, where I get a full solid time block of no activity, literally the next day or that following day, something just appears. I'm like, oh, yay, there it is. I put in my time. So you have to do something, right? Doing nothing will get you nothing. So put in the work, put in the activity with the full heart of saying, I'm here to find, not everyone, just the one or two people who truly need my service. And those are the ones I want to connect with.
I've actually gotten to feel like I don't even call my database my data bank. I call it my gold mine. Because that's where I'm finding all my little nuggets.
Yeah.
And somebody that I haven't spoken to in years, all of a sudden goes, oh, by the way, I am, or I know. And I end up closing 2 this week from just doing that.
And it really is just staying top of mind for people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's just reminding them, I'm here for you, and I'm in real estate.
Yeah.
Right? It's just that top of mind. And out of doing those activities, you're going to find a few people who become your raving fans. Raving fans is my mom. Oh my gosh. I can't spoil my mom enough for how crazy of a raving fan she is. I swear she has this radar. If people say the word house around her, she literally grabs them and then gets her phone. Hold on. You need to talk to my Patty. I'm talking. There's somebody right here at my office that wants to buy a house. Hold on. She doesn't even give me their name and hands her phone off. And I'm like, hi, who are you? And I'm telling you, you will have a few people. Now, my sisters, no. My dad, no. But my mom, she definitely is my raving fan. And I have about 5 of those in my world now. Okay, so just continue to live up on the people who love, support you no matter what. Yes, Miss Kathy.
Don't you find, Patty, that more of the personal, I have more success with the personal contacts? Like I get all of my clients from open houses and then doing the pop buys. Actually, I got the pop buy gifts ideas from you years ago.
Yeah. Yes,
I remember that.
This is most certainly a relationship business. You will get better quality leads. You will get long-term repeat business if you treat this as a relationship business. Is there agents out there who do it very transactionally, who don't care about the relationship and just next? Yes. Are they as successful? Maybe. But when they go and sell their book of business, like I did 10 years ago in North Carolina, when I left that location and moved back home, I was able to sell my book of business because I can show them repeat and referrals, what that generated in income year over year. You can't do that if you're transactional. Okay. So this is about having good quality relationships and wanting to do good for the good of others, wanting to help them succeed through you, right? Because we're just here to help support other people. So yes, I'm talking a lot about mindset, but honestly, where we're all at, it is about mindset. You have to be positive about this environment, this market that we're in. You have to be there to serve. And the byproduct of that is we get paid when we do the right thing. right? When we truly help others and are there with the heart in the right place. All right, so let's go a little bit more into these tools, because we can talk airy fairy all day long, but that's not practical. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm first going to start with the one tool we do have, which is called the good old MLS. And let me make sure that that is up. I have two tabs open, so, and I'm sure MLS logged me out. So let's see, we're gonna share, and I want to share. I think that one, let's try. Yep, it logged me out. Of course it did. So stand by. All right. So in MLS, absolutely, who was that? Sandy mentioned that you can go back and search for expired. You can search for canceled listings, right? Something that's come up. There's a few others you can search for here. All right, so good old prospector. I really looked back at the last 2 years in preparation for this class. I'm like, when did I find something specifically on MLS that was a bit of a challenge, but yet we only got it because of my follow through on MLS? And I have two examples for you. So in MLS, there's this status. So I'm going to go into search, standard search. Come on, catch up with me here. And there's a status in MLS called hold. Okay, so not active, hold. Just going to go single family homes. Let me just quickly, there's not that many listings, so I'm just going to leave it San Joaquin 90. Let me narrow it down to Stockton. Okay, so in Stockton, that tells me right now in all of Stockton, single family residents, there's 46 listings that are in hold status. What the heck does that mean? That means for some reason or another, the seller has told their agent, I need you to pause for a minute. You know, something's happening, like maybe somebody's sick with COVID, could be. You know, maybe they had a home repair, or they're having people come visit, or they're just freaking out a little bit about getting their home sold. The list goes on and on. For whatever reason, the seller has told their agent, can you push pause on us selling our home? And instead of marking it, you know, off the market, pending, or something different, this status is meant for just pause my sale right now. So I love going into hold, because if there's something in there that matches my client's criteria, I'm going to call that agent and I'm say, hey, I noticed that you have, I'm just going to pick any house. I'm specifically right now looking for a 4-bedroom. So I'm just going to go into this one.
Does that mean when they're on hold, does that mean that the days on market stop?
Yes, it does. The days on market stop until it goes back into active or a different status.
And does it have to be like a justified reason in order to go into hold before you go into hold?
It should be. Yeah, MLS has nice little rules about that. It should be. And yet most times it's just because the seller has requested them to pause. Now, sometimes I will tell you this too. Sometimes it's a little sticky. Sometimes the seller isn't getting along with their agent and they're thinking about firing their agent. And instead of going canceled or expired, you know, they're like, we just need to talk this through. Like, can you just take us off the market for right now until we figure this out? You know, so I wanted to say that because sometimes when you make these calls, well, we already know if you've been trying to get a hold of other agents, sometimes people don't return your calls or text message or emails, right? And it could be very frustrating. And yet our job is to hunt for our buyers. So am I a little annoying sometimes to somebody? Yes, I don't care that I'm annoying, right? They're a real estate agent. Answer your phone, do your job. So unless they tell me to, you know, take a hike or not nice to me, then I'm going to keep trying because that is my job. That is why a buyer hired me. So I'm going to pick on this home. So Gladstone, it's on hold. Before it went on hold, it was on the market for 25 days, right? I can look a little bit more at the property history right here, which is usually right above the MLS number. That gives me a tiny bit more of information sometimes. This just tells me it went active. They've never changed their price. So on December 14th is when they went active, and they went into hold status on January 7th. Now it's been a month now that they've been on hold, right? That tells me a story. So I'm like, why? Why has this property been on hold for a bit? Now, it's very rare that an agent will actually give you the why in the private remarks. So I'm just going to look real quick. 2 hours advance notice. Do not enter garage. Sellers has talked. So there's nothing there that's telling me why this is on pause right now. It doesn't say there was a tenant. Let's see. Yep, text only. So I'm not seeing anything that would really give me that information just by looking at the MLS. So I'm absolutely going to call the agent, right? And just inquire like, hey, who is this? Let's see who this is. Michelle. Hey, Michelle, I see you have Gladstone on hold. Now I have a buyer who this home looks perfect for. Any chance you'll be coming back on the market soon? And they're going to tell me whatever they're going to tell me, right? You guys, in hold status, I have gone into properties and showed them before they went back active. So nobody else got to see them but me. And guess who got to write the offer? Zero competition. Okay. So don't discard these holds. And you're just coming out of curiosity, right? Like, hey, I noticed your listing is in hold status on this address. It seems to perfectly match my buyer's needs. May I ask, when will you be coming back on the market? And then just let them talk. They're going to tell you what's going on, right? Or how soon might it be available? Is there any chance that I can let them see it prior to you going back on the market, prior to you going active? Yes, Sandy.
I actually contacted an agent on a hold, and she explained, there was a situation with the buyer or with the seller and their family. Well, as soon as it went live again, she called me and asked me if I would want to do an open house, which it's a different broker. So I was like,
how nice is that?
Oh no, I can't, I can't do that. But
Yeah.
She thought of me first.
Yeah. And see, and that's because you went out of your way to actually call her first and build that relationship, right? And that's awesome. That's fantastic. That's what you want to happen. So this is one of my little golden nuggets here is, heck yeah, I'll call them, because it takes me what, 2 minutes to call somebody and have a conversation. And if I get to show my buyer a house with no competition, they're going to think I'm amazing. Hold. Definitely look at those. And be nice, obviously. Be mindful of what the situation. Sometimes the sellers really can't. There's something really going on. Sometimes they'll have tenants. So that's my other one. Hold status. You can search if they are tenant occupied. So, I'm trying to find it here. In our showing instructions where it says who lives there, the only thing with that is, as agents are, let me stop share for a moment. As agents input the data, not everybody does it exactly the same. So sometimes they'll tell you an owner lives there or a tenant lives there, or you actually have to read the remarks, right? So have you guys seen some listings where they're, whatever status they're in, active, doesn't matter, where it says you cannot view the property until the tenant moves out? So subject to viewing, or you have to give a ton of notice because there's a tenant there, right? So I love those. I'll look for the tenant occupied property that have been on the market for 20 days or more. And again, I will call the agent and I'll say, hey, it looks like, you know, your tenant is still in the property. Do you have a move out date for them? And I know the property is going to be a hot mess because they're in the middle of a move. No problem. You know, my folks really don't care about that. In fact, I would just love to preview it, you know, before it truly becomes available. I'm just looking for a chance to get in, guys. That's all I'm looking for. Any chance I might be able to get in to quickly preview it. And if my buyers are available, you know, could they tag along? I got into several of those last year. No competition, only offer written. Why? Because I'm picking up the phone and I'm asking. Right? I'm making the calls other agents don't want to make because based on the remarks, they're like, nope, tenant occupied. They're not going to let us see it. Well, really, they might if you ask. Right? So I will call, I'll text, I'll email, you know, hey, this property seems to perfectly match my buyer's needs. Any chance? Is there any chance I can get into preview it, or do you have a move out date for the tenants? You know, I have no problem working with tenants. So you just want to make, it's all about making the listing agent feel comfortable that you're not going to be intrusive, that you're going to be there really quick, and you don't mind, you know, walking around the tenant's stuff if they're open to it.
So to search that, do you, is it customized view? And then
know,
you search
not-
for
Not necessarily. I just look for old ones and I just have to read through the remarks.
Oh, I see.
Usually it's pretty evident if there's a tenant, it'll either say in the agent remarks or it'll say in the showing comments, it'll say owner or tenant. And sometimes they're crazy. There's sometimes, I do not advise this ever. Sometimes there's agents that will give you the tenant's phone number. Or the owner's phone number. Right there in MLS. So of course, I'm going to bypass the agent and be like, hey, Mr. Tenant, right? You know, how's it go? I understand you're in the middle of the move. I'm sure, you know, it's a lot going on in your house. And yet we promised we wouldn't take more than 5 minutes of our time just to quickly walk through and check it out. We're not there to look at your stuff. We're there to look at the house. What would be most convenient for you?
Okay.
And they let me in. And I never talk to the agent. I only talk to the agent when they actually like it. Right? So check. When you're looking, when you see tenant occupied listings, check the phone numbers. Does the phone number match the listing agent? If it doesn't, and they're saying it's a tenant, you might actually be talking directly to the person in the house. You could get in faster that way. Okay. Sometimes you need a friend who speaks a different language. So I'm saying, claro que hablo español. Yes, I speak Spanish, and I will take all your Spanish speaking referrals, by the way, if you don't speak that language. Because sometimes, you know, there's tenants in there that truly don't speak English very well. So you might have to have a buddy to help you make that call. And we would certainly help out with that, right? Because we've got to help each other out. So tenant occupied. Okay, my other one on MLS. So we know some of these homes are going extremely fast. Is there homes that you have seen on MLS that have gone pending and then show down at the bottom that they've only received one offer? Do you guys know how to see that on pending? No? Okay, I'm going to show you real quick. So share screen. All right, let's go here. Let me go. I'm just going to go to one of my cards because I know I have some pendings in here. Come on, Jessa. All right. So I'm going to give you a perfect example here. So pending, and that was Appling. Here's Appling. Okay. Come on, open. So when I see a pended property, I'll search these two. I'll scroll down to the bottom. If I see 3 or less offers, sometimes even 5 or less, if it's a really, really good match for what my buyer's looking for. But normally I look here. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top. So you grasp this. The property's pending, right? Truly, it's not on the market anymore. I scroll all the way down and they disclose here, when we change the status to pending, you're supposed to report how many offers you received on that listing. This person is saying they got 3. Right? Now, interestingly enough, when I called her, I said, Miss Rita, I see you got 3 offers. Do you, other than the offer you accepted, do you have a backup offer in place? Like written out formally, a backup offer signed? She said no. I said, fantastic. My buyers love this house. We actually got qualified after their open house and after they had already done the negotiation. We weren't one of the 3. We didn't even see it. And I said, great. Just in case anything funky happens with your first offer, do you mind if I submit a backup? No, go ahead, Patty. Fantastic. And Rita, I'm also going to check in with you from time to time because we know, stuff could happen, appraisals, so forth, inspections. So do you mind, after I submit my backup, if I check in with you at least 2 or 3 times during this 30-day period? I'm assuming you have a 30-day escrow. Yes. Go ahead, John.
Okay, so with the backups, I just want to let everyone know that does work because I literally almost got in contract yesterday because we're in backup position.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you the form you use. Okay. So pendings, can they fall out? Have we been seeing the little red box that says back on market? Okay. They don't have to come back on market if you're the first offer in backup position. That means you get first right of refusal. You get to say, hey, we're still shopping. Okay, so let me show you that form. Super quick. It's right. I put it on my desktop, and of course, where'd you go?
So what happens if, so does your buyer, can they continue looking even though
Yes,
they put in a backup offer?
absolutely.
Are you able to have multiple backup offers out there?
Yes, but they go ranked
Oh.
in order. So it's backup offer number 1, backup offer number 2, backup offer number 3, and they have to go in order.
And even though it's
But you're
pending,
able to
you can
have
still
them
show
on
it.
multiple properties?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to show you the form. So give me 2 seconds. You share, and I want to share this document. Okay. So this is called the backup offer addendum. So you're going to write your offer just as you write your offer normally, right? A full written offer. And what this says is that the buyer and seller agree to put me in backup position, number 1. Right? So I'm only truly looking for the pending listings that have 0 backups, that haven't formally gone through this process. And most likely those are going to be the ones that only had a handful of offers. Right? Because if you had 14 offers, you probably have several backups. And I'm going to restate that. Maybe you don't, because honestly, not too many agents know how to use this one piece of paper to position them to be in first backup position. So even if you lost out to 14 other offers and they tell you you lost, say, okay, no problem. What would I need to do? I maybe give it 24 hours, give it a day, call the agent back, like, bombed, we didn't get it, but what do I need to do to remain in first backup position? Like, based on the offer the sellers did choose, how do I need to change my offer to be considered next should your offer fall out? So I'm only looking to be backup position number 1. If you look right here, it says the seller is unable to provide such cancellation and release to the buyer by X date, then either party can cancel in writing. So you can put a date in. You can say, if this property doesn't close in 2 months, I usually do 2 to 3 months out. Now what happens? They're going to call me and they're going to say, hey, Patty, are your folks, our contract fell out. Have your folks got into contract on anything else? I'm gonna say whatever I say. No. Okay, great. We would like to enact your offer since you are in backup position. So pull this form up in zip forms. I'm not going to go through the full thing, but you do have to be very mindful on how you check these boxes. So I'll just briefly, the time periods of when your stuff starts, you don't want that to start until after the sellers delivers a written cancellation of their first offer, right? So obviously you wouldn't want to do the appraisal or start your own inspection, even as backup offer, until you're given a cancellation. So how you check those boxes matter. You would not want to check them. Okay, so no checking the boxes, you leave them open. You start doing it after you get receipt of that. And then see, the seller signs it, the buyer sign it, you remain in first backup. Notice of cancellation and release. This is when the seller signs this and says, hey, guess what? We were able to cancel our first offer. Now we are coming to you first. So this can happen, you guys. This is a really, really good one that not enough agents use. Yes, Sandy.
So you can actually still show a home even though it went pending?
If they allow you to, absolutely. That it's just a matter of getting permission.
Right.
Just getting
It
permission
just
from the
seems
owners.
like if I'm the one that put the offer in and I got the offer and then all of a sudden you're still showing it and doing backups, it's kind of like, I don't know, slap in the face a little bit.
Well, it's
Maybe
gonna
not.
it's gonna depend on how the listing agent feels. Do I get it on every one? Absolutely not. You know, it doesn't happen on every single house, but does it happen enough where I'm gonna take the time to pursue this? Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're gonna make it super convenient for them, and hopefully your buyer's available, right? You want to make it convenient. Like, I understand it's pending, so you know, is this weekend, you know, what's gonna be okay, and we'll be in and out. Right? Because yeah, of course the other person might be a little annoyed, but hey, the listing agent needs to protect the seller, not the buyer they have under contract. So I will always allow my people who call me directly, if I have no backups in place, like absolutely go see it. Let me arrange it with the sellers just in case. Okay. All right. Hold on one second. Kathy, I see some of the little hands here. Reina, your hand's still up?
Yes. So it also, I noticed on the top of that form that it says counter offer. So would it basically play like as if the same process of a regular offer, you would go and
You're going to
you
submit
could
a
get
full
counter?
offer. You're going to submit a full offer, and they can actually negotiate your actual offer. This is just an addendum to the offer that states, when the first contract cancels, I am now going on this offer that's been negotiated. Sometimes they'll negotiate up front, and sometimes they'll negotiate after they provide the cancellation, because maybe new information is discovered.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
And don't expect everybody to sign these, guys. Just the fact that you have it in their inbox gives you a higher probability of them calling you back first if their offer falls out.
Okay.
Okay. Sonia.
Hi, so my question is, what's the difference between pending and then pending bring backup?
Pending bring backup is supposed to be for those folks who are truly still seeking a backup offer, that they have no backup offers in place, right? And 9 times out of 10, they will allow you to show it still.
Okay, so that agent is still accepting backup offers.
Yes,
That's what they're saying.
because they might feel that their current offer they signed off on, you know, there's something funky with it, or they don't feel as strong about it. So they're still going to seek backup offers for their sellers.
And then my other question was, I did a backup offer for my last client, but I didn't know about the addendum. So if I didn't do the backup addendum, does that mean it's not an actual backup offer?
Not necessarily, because again, most agents don't use this form at all and don't use it properly.
Okay.
So I would say you're probably okay as long as you and the agent kind of had that verbal agreement or even email agreement between you, like, I'm in first backup position. And I would specifically write, you know, am I in first backup position? Because then they'd come to you first. But having that addendum definitely protects you more.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Kathy.
Would this be beneficial by any chance? Like, you've got a home, you know there's probably going to be a lot of offers made and your buyer just loves it. Would it be helpful to actually put that form in initially with the initial offer that says, if mine doesn't get, no?
No, I would
Okay.
wait. I would wait until you're told you're not necessarily the winner, right? And then
Okay.
give it a day, because the calls still come in crazy like the listing agent. You got to be mindful of how what the listings agent's dealing with, right? And it is a little bit crazy with having to respond. So I give it about a day or two, and then I'll call and say, hey, I just want to check in. Or I might respond right away, like, do you already have somebody in backup, when I'm told no? And if they don't respond right away, I'll reach out again to try to get into that position. Reina.
Is the backup based on, in order to be backup one, is that based on like first come, first serve, or is it based on the appeal of the offer?
A little bit of both. So if I'm the listing agent, we already have an offer accepted. What I'm looking for in a backup offer is pretty darn close to the same or better than what I've already signed off on. Right?
But if there's somebody else, say like somebody else that's coming to be a backup offer, and say they come after me and I'm already in backup position one, can they put an offer that is greater or more appealing than everybody's, and then they get moved to one?
No, they now become backup offer number two. If they've already signed off on
Can they
yours,
be taken?
nope. Not if that document's signed off, right? And that's
So-
why, depending on the conversation, I will sometimes push hard to get it signed. It just depends on the conversation with the agent on the other side. If I
So-
think they're kind of squirmy agents and aren't going to do the right thing, I'm going to push really hard to get my backup addendum signed. That way, even if somebody bids more than me, I have first right of refusal. They have to come to me first for signing that document. Okay. Janice, did you have a comment?
You answered it.
Okay, very good. Very good. All right, all right. I want to get to. All right, I'm going to go a little bit fast here because there's some other two really good nuggets that I don't want to miss out on. And I know, gosh, an hour flies, you guys. Okay. MLS, if you want more information on anything I just shared on MLS, Patty Ortega, it's just my name, no dots, no nothing. Patty Ortega at gmail.com, pretty easy, or at kw.com, but I check my Gmail a little more frequently. All right, so that's how you get me if you have any more questions on what we just reviewed. All right, this is one of my favorite tips. I'm giving you guys my good tips, but hey, we all have different buyers, so we got to share. Here we go. Share screen. I want this. Good old Zillow. A lot of people hate Zillow. I like it for certain reasons. And Kathy, while I'm pulling this up, did you have a question? All right. Here we go. I need to move you guys. Your faces are over here on the sidebar. Crazy thing. Okay. Zillow. How do I find off-market listings on Zillow? Okay. I'm in Stockton, California. I hit this little for sale button. I hit the down arrow. I see what it defaults to. It says buy agent, new construction, coming soon, blah, blah, blah. I uncheck everything but for sale by owner. Okay. I now hit done. I'm done. So look what happens. If you look to the right of my screen, it says 0 listings, but oh, there's this other little button right here. I click that. It's showing me 2 houses that are not listed by real estate agents and are directly being sold by the owner. And look at this one's having an open house this weekend. Did I just find 2 more pieces of inventory that might match my buyer's needs? Oh, that people don't know how to go check that darn little button because by default, Zillow doesn't want to show you that.
So how do you deal with that? Like if they don't have an agent, like how do they sell that?
They sell it themselves. You're talking directly to the owner who believes they can represent themselves, right? So there's this
So do
lovely
you
thing
provide the
called a
paperwork?
cooperative, compensation agreement in DRE, in your zip forms, compensation agreement. You show up with the compensation agreement. That one's having an open house. So I just show up to the open house with my compensation agreement. I first just want to know if my buyers love it, right? I don't really care off the bat whether or not they're going to pay me or not. And I say that with the greatest, I say that lightly because of course I want to get paid. And at the end of the day, if that house is perfect for my buyers, could I figure out a way to get paid if the seller doesn't want to pay me? Yes, right? So my whole job is to find these for my buyer and to get them into the house. And if it matches them, we'll figure everything else out. Right? So this one, not having an open house. I go see it. It actually has the owner's name and phone number typically listed right on it, right on the listing. See how fast it comes up for us. Come on. You know, normally when if you've ever looked at Zillow listings, it'll show the listing agent's information, like who you kind of have to really look for it because they're not really straightforward. But look right here, listed by no name, property owner, phone number. Right? Great. FSBO, for salebyowner.com. Right? Google for sale by owners in whatever city. You will find for sale by owners who don't list on this little Zillow thing, who don't list on you know, any other platform, but they might pay into for salebyowner.com or FSBO.com. But you have to make sure they're listing the owners directly, because sometimes there's companies that will actually disregard. If there's a phone number, just call it. And if they happen to be an agent, say, hey, sorry, you know, I didn't see it in MLS and this is where I found it. So disregard, no problem. I'll go ahead and show it, you know, the normal way. Great place to find. Look, it's 2. Who cares? If one of the 2 matches your buyer's criteria, right? How many people are actually doing this? Not many. Okay. What else? Here we go. Let me do my time check here. All right. I have one more tool I'm going to show you. This is called, let me see if it switches screens. I'm going to close MLS and Zillow, so maybe you'll move a little bit faster. All right. You've written offers. You were one of X. This is what John was referring to. So John, this might look similar to what you're using, or it might be different. This golden letter could be mailed, could be door knocked with, right? It depends on your budget and it depends on your time. It says, dear homeowner, wherever they are, we can find that in the tax records. We wrote an offer on your neighbor's home at 123 Happy Lane, and unfortunately it wasn't accepted. In fact, there were 7 offers on the property. Do you know how to find the 7 offers? That number I just showed you guys, right? It goes pending. It shows you at the bottom how many offers were written on that home. Would you be interested in selling your home to a client of ours? If so, I would add to this, please call or text me at blank, your phone number. Thank you. That's it. Is there a way? I think there's a way for me to share this on there. Here, I'm going to move. If you guys want to screenshot it or take a picture, here. Like on my screen, the faces are in the way, but this is the top of it. It doesn't even have to be that fancy, right? And here's the bottom. They just kind of put their information at the bottom. In fact, maybe if I zoom out a little bit, I might be able to get the whole letter. All right, I'll leave it up for a sec. Simple. Is this super simple? Are you telling the truth?
What's that on the very bottom?
And sharing the story? It says, oh, this is really important. It
Yeah.
says, if your home is currently listed with a realtor, please do not consider this to be a solicitation. And it's just their phone number. I'll make sure I get a copy of this letter out to Barb so she can send it to all of you. Because of time, I'm not that fancy in putting it in the chat. In fact, let me see. I'm just going to get the body of this and throw it in the chat, just so at least you have the body of the message, and then everything else is for compliance. Boom. There you go. So go steal it from the chat. This is an amazing letter, especially if there's 14 offers, 15 offers, you know, multiple offers. Like, you can literally go to the neighbors and be like, yes, really? Does it say it was your listing? No. Does it even have to be your listing or something that you wrote on? No. Because you know how many offers were accepted on that pending. So if I know there's a pocket of town my buyers are dying to be in, I'm going to look up all those pendings for those homes that are close in that neighborhood. And this letter works. Like, hey, that house down the street, it had 7 offers. It went pending, right? You see there's nothing else for sale. Are you interested in selling? Here's my name and number. You can door knock, you can email. I'm not email, door knock or mail. It's very effective, you guys. All right, let me just look down my list. That's as quick as I could go. Really researching, right? Part of our job is also to research to find is the price points that you're searching for your buyers. Go back and look at closed and say, where are these neighborhoods or pockets of town that in fact do match my buyer's criteria right now? Like, where are they? You're gonna find little speckles right here and there on the map if you really are looking. Let me stop share. I don't know how to do that. Okay, wait. Is it stopping? Cancel. There we go. Okay, so say my client's looking for, 450,000. I'm going to go back and look at all the closed with their specific criteria and find the 2 or 3 neighborhoods where there's a little cluster of those solds really recent, like really recent, meaning in the last 2 months, maybe 3 if I'm not getting enough results, right? And now I can use this same letter and door knock or mail that neighborhood because I know they just closed in that price point, right? So you can use it for pendings, but you could also use it for closed. Was this helpful? Did you get some new ideas as to go hunting for homes that are off the market? Yeah, cool. All right, I'm going to take probably 1 or 2 questions and then I'll have to sign off. Nope. All right, I'm going to put my direct, this is my business number. And when I say that, I do have an operations manager. So if she knows the answer, she's also a licensed real estate agent, and she's been working by my side almost for 3 years. So she's kind of learning to talk like me now, which is great because that means she's able to help me more. So there's my phone number. I think it went through, and here is my email. We're here to help and support you.
I don't think it is going through.
Your phone number is not there.
All right, it's 209 565 3668.
Got your email. Okay.
Okay. All right, guys, have a productive day. If you get stuck on any of these, like what did she say? Feel free to reach out for me and I'll do my very best to answer in a timely manner.
Thank you,
Thank
Patty.
you.
Did a great one. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.